quite for no reason I'm here for the season and high as a kite. Living in error with Maud at Cap Farrer, which couldn't be right. Everyone's here and frightfully gay. Nobody cares what the people say. Though the Riviera is very much queerer than Rome at its height, on Saturday night I went to a marvellous party with Nunu and Nada and Nell. It was in the fresh air, and we went as we were, and we stayed as we were, which was hell. Dear Grace started singing at midnight and didn't stop singing till 4. But we knew the excitement was bound to begin when Laura got blind on Dubonnet and gin and scratched her veneer with a Cartier pin. I couldn't have liked it more. I'd been to a marvellous party. I must say the fun was intense. We all had to do what the people we knew might be doing 100 years hence. Dear Cecil arrived wearing armour, some shells and a black feather boa. Poor Millicent wore a surrealist comb made of bits of mosaic from St. Peter's in Rome, but the weight was so great that he had to go home. I couldn't have liked it more. I've been to a marvellous party. We played the most wonderful game. Maureen disappeared and came back in a bed, and we all had to guess at her name. We talked about growing old gracefully, and Elsie, well, Elsie's 74, said, A, it's a question of being sincere, and B, if you're supple, there's nothing to fear. Then she swung upside down from a glass chandelier. I couldn't have liked it more. A marvellous party. To that bar on the Piccola Marina, where love came to Mrs. Wentworth Brewster. Hot flushes of delight suffused her. Right around the bend she went. Picture her astonishment. Day in, day out, she would get about because she thought she was no longer on the shelf. Night in, night out, knocking back the gin, she'd merely cry, Funiculi, Funicula, Funic yourself. Just for fun, 3 young sailors from Messina bowed low to Mrs. Wentworth Brewster, said scusi, and abruptly goosed her. Then there was quite a scene. Her family in floods of tears said, leave these men, mama. She said they're just high-spirited, like all Italians are, and most of them have a great deal more to offer than papa in a bar on the Piccola Marina. Our room with a view, and no one to worry us, no one to hurry us through the stream well found. We'll gaze at the sky and try to guess what it's all about, and then we'll figure out why the world is round. And we'll coo, and sorry will never come, or will it ever come true? Our room with Signorita Nina from Argentina despised the tango, although she never was a girl to let a man go. She wouldn't sacrifice her principles for sex. She looked with scorn on the gyrations of her relations who danced the conga. Answer that if she had to stand it any longer, she'd lose all dignity and wring their silly necks. She said that frankly if she was blinded to all their ever-advertised romantic charms, and then she got more bloody-minded and told them where to put their tropic palms. And she could not refrain from saying that the idiotic swaying and those damn guitars playing were an insult to her race, and that she really couldn't face such international disgrace. She declined to begin the beguine, though they besought her to, and with language profane and obscene she cursed the man who taught her to. She cursed Cole Porter too. from this it's fairly clear that Nina, in her demeanor, was so offensive that when the hatred of her friends grew too intensive, she thought she'd better beat it while she had the chance. After some trial and tribulation, she reached the station and met a sailor who had acquired a wooden leg in Venezuela, and so she married him because he couldn't dance. One song that Noel Coward wrote achieved a certain controversy in his lifetime. He wrote it about the British Army in India, and it was enormously popular throughout the world, except in Bombay, New Delhi, Karachi, Madras, the Punjab, and arguably the Hindu Kush. The India we read about and may have been misled about in memory has still remained intact. Though Pakistan traditions may have cracked and thinned, the good old Indian army was a fact. That famous monumental man, the officer and gentleman, can still recall the glories of Bombay and Kathmandu. In certain bars you still can glimpse matured or embryonic blimps, vivaciously speculating as to what became of who. They order pints and call for chota pegs, then drain their reminiscence to the dregs. Whatever became of old Boozy? I haven't seen him for a year. Is it true that young Biggs had to marry that floozy he met in the Vale of Kashmir? I say, have you had any word of that chap in the third? Was it Prosser or Pearcroft or was it Pym? Well, he was stationed in Simla, or was it Bengal? But I know he got tied at a ball in Nepal and wrote several four-letter words on a wall. I wonder what happened to him. Damn nasty business, that. Fortunately, the viceroy at the time couldn't read. Whatever became of old Archie? I hear he departed this life after rounding up 10 sacred cows in Karachi to welcome the governor's wife. Do you remember young Phipps, who had very large hips and whose waist was excessively slim? Well, it seems that some doctor in Grosvenor Square gave him hormone injections for growing his hair. But he grew something here, and he grew something there. I wonder what happened to her. Him! That happened for the first time seem to be happening again. And though it seems that we have met before and laughed before and loved before, but who knows where or when. your daughter on the stage, Mrs. Wellington, don't put your daughter on the stage. One look at her bandy legs should prove she hasn't got a chance. In addition to which the son of a bitch can neither sing nor dance. She's a vile girl, and uglier than mortal sin. One look at her has put me in a tearful bloody rage. That sufficed, Mrs. Worthington. Christ, Mrs. Worthington, don't put your daughter on the stage. The endless nights, the daily fights, the quick toboggan when you hit the heights. I miss the kisses and I miss the bites. I wish I were in love again. The broken dates, the endless waits, the lovely loving and the hateful hates, the conversations with the flying plates. I wish I were in love again. No more care, no despair. Now I'm there, but I would rather be gaga. The pulled out fur of cat and cur, the fine mismating of a him and her. I've learned my lesson, but I wish I were in love again. The furtive sigh, the blackened eye, the words I love you till the day I die, the self-deception that believes the lie. I wish I were in love again. When love congeals, it soon reveals the faint aroma of performing seals, the double crossing of a pair of heels. I wish I were in love again. No more care, no despair. Now I'm there, but I would rather be punch drunk. Believe me, sir, I much prefer the classic battle of a him and her. I don't like quiet, and I wish I were in love again. We settle off as man and wife to solve the riddle called married life. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's still lovely. We're on the crest, we have no cares, we're just a couple of honey bears. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's still lovely. All's as right as can be, till one night at my window I see an absurd bird with a bundle hung on his nose. Get baby clothes. Oh, those eyes of yours are filled with joy when nurse appears and says, "It's a boy." He's appalling. He's appealing. He's a pollywog. He's a paragon. He's a Popeye. He's a panic. He's a pip. He's the lovely. Our boy grows up. He's 6'3". He's so good looking. He looks like me. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's still lovely. He's such a hit, that son of ours, that all the dowagers send him flowers. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's still lovely. So sublime is his press that in time L.B. Meyer, no less, makes a night flight to New York and tells him he should go Hollywood. My God, today he gets such pay that Margaret Thatcher's his fiancée. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's delectable, it's delirious, it's dilemma, it's the limit, it's deluxe, it's lovely. olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking, but now God knows anything goes. Good authors, too, who once knew better words, now only use four-letter words. Writing prose, anything goes. The world's gone mad today, and good's bad today. Black's white today, and day's night today. Most guys today who women prize today are just silly gigolos. And though I'm not a great romancer, I know that you're bound to answer when I propose. Anything goes. My dogs and Englishmen go out in midday sun. The toughest Burmese bandit could never understand it. In Rangoon, the heat of noon is just what the natives shun. They put their Scotch all right down and lie down. In the jungle town where the sun beats down to the rage of man and beast, the English garb of the English Saab merely gets a bit more creased. In Bangkok at 12 o'clock they famous the mountain run, but mad dogs and Englishmen go out in midday sun. I'll see you again whenever spring breaks through again. Time may lie weary between, but what has been is past forgetting. Though my world may go awry, in my heart shall ever lie just the echo of a sigh. Someday I'll find you, moonlight behind you, true to the dream I am dreaming. As you draw nearer, you'll smile your little smile. For a little while we shall stand hand in hand. I'll leave you never, love you forever. All our past sorrows redeeming. Make it all come true. Say you love me too. Someday I'll find you again. Needn't be grey, although it's changing day by day. Though a few old fears will decay. Play orchestra, play orchestra, play orchestra, play orchestra, play orchestra, play orchestra, play.